Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. Today I want to talk to you about why Bitcoin cannot be sound money. And what has spurred this short video is this video that was put out by Miles Franklin, a precious metals dealer. I've learned a lot from them. And also the host here, Michelle McCory, is also a very smart person, and I'm not trying to negate their channel or their thought process or whatever. They're both great people and very smart, and you can learn a lot. So come subscribe to Miles Franklin. However, she says here and talks about sound money. I'm going to play a little bit of this and tell you what I disagree with here.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Michelle McCory, and you're watching The Real Story, where we go beyond the headlines, beneath the surface, and behind the curtain to show you what is really happening with money, markets, and power. And today we are starting with a concept at the very foundation of it all: sound money. Because if the money isn't sound, the system isn't sound. And right now, many argue that our entire economic, financial, and political system is broken and on the brink of collapse, precisely because it is not rooted in sound money.
So far, I agree with everything she said.
So what is sound money? Well, technically, sound money must fulfill the classic functions of money. It must serve as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. It also needs to be divisible and portable. But here's the critical part. It must be scarce. It must have limited supply. It cannot just be printed out at will or created with a click, as our money today is.
Okay, so she's actually talking about the attributes of money, what money must be to be money. And our fiat definitely is not money in that sense. But she talks about what sound money is here. In fact, she explains it a little bit more. We'll keep going.
So why does sound money matter? Because when money is sound, your savings hold their value. Your work is measured fairly, and wealth cannot be quietly stolen through money printing and inflation. Unsound money, on the other hand, erodes purchasing power, drives inequality, and shifts wealth from savers and workers to government and elites. Unsound money leads to inflation, a hidden tax that hits us all. Unsound money also historically leads to social unrest, political instability, the collapse of institutions. Now, the word sound itself comes from the Old English sunt, meaning healthy, safe, reliable. So when we talk about sound money, we are literally talking about healthy money, money that is stable, trustworthy, and not easily corrupted. Historically, that is why societies gravitated to gold and silver.
So she is correlating sound money. She's saying that the reason we call gold and silver sound money is because it's stable, it's something you can trust in, those definitions of sound that she just mentioned. However, the original meaning of sound money was not that. The original meaning of sound money, I'm going to jump over here to a clip from the Sound Money Defense League, and this is a great institution. You should definitely come subscribe to them. I have interviewed JP Cortez, who is also working with the Sound Money Defense League, and a very smart guy. And here is the origins of the term sound money. Sound money embodies a clear message recognizable for centuries around the world. It describes the musical, metallic ring of a gold, silver, or copper coin dropped on any hard surface of glass, stone, wood, or metal. And so that is where we get our term sound money from. This also gives me a chance to show off my exotic wood coin pingers that I make. If you would like one of these, just reach out to me or come to my auctions, and we will work that out and get one out to you. So again, sound money comes from the sound of the pure metal making a certain noise when it was dropped on a table. So the old moneyers back in the what I would consider old days, this coin is all the way from 2300 BC, or 300 BC is what I should say. So it's a very old coin, over 2,300 years old, and it is a good pure silver coin. And when you would bring your money to the moneyer or the banker of the time, and you would drop your coin onto their table, hard services as sound money, what was it called? Sound Money Defense League mentions, it would make a certain ring. And that is where you get the term sound money from, is from actually hearing the metal as it makes a noise when you drop it on the counter or what have you. I'm going to use my metal pinger here and hit it close to the microphone there. You can hear that pitch that carries on for quite a while. Another way to do it is just to take another coin and hit it with another coin, and that pitch that you hear carries for a long time. And if it's a base metal, it won't have that same ring to it. So nowadays you can get an app, a coin pinger app, and you open that app up, you put in the type of coin that you have. This is an American Silver Eagle Type 2. You open that particular app up to that coin, and you ring the coin, and it will listen to that ring and tell you if the coin that you have is that actual coin or not. And it's so accurate, they actually have a different setting for a Type 1 Silver Eagle and a Type 2 Silver Eagle. Now they're the exact same diameter and thickness and weight. They're both 1 ounce of pure silver, but even the variation in the stamp makes a little bit different of a sound. So the coin app with a pinger is actually quite accurate to tell you if you have a pure gold or silver coin. Now, back in the day, they didn't have an app, but they had their ear. And if your job as a moneyer and you're hearing people drop silver coins on your table all the time, then you develop a certain ear that you can hear. Oh, I know that sound. That's real money. That's pure silver or pure gold. And so that's where the term sound money came from, because you could actually tell if it was real money just by the sound that it makes. And so that is the true meaning of sound money. And of course, they're trying here to also make a case for Bitcoin being sound money, which I disagree with. Obviously, it is not a physical thing that can make a noise, so therefore it can't be sound money as gold and silver is. Now, I also disagree with it being a pure, stable store of wealth that can't be manipulated. It is on the computer, and your access to the computer itself can be manipulated. You say, well, just put it in a cold wallet and carry it around. Well, fine, but for it to have any value, you have to access the internet. Therefore, you can be manipulated. There was a couple more things I want to mention right quick about this.
Were scarce, recognizable, and could not be printed at will. The founding fathers of the US understood this deeply, and after the collapse of the continental currency during the Revolution, a paper money that became worthless, they wrote into the Constitution that nothing but gold and silver could serve as legal tender for debts. George Washington himself warned
So-
that paper money would...
Actually, that again, in my opinion, is a little bit off. It's very close to being true, and I know what she means when she's saying it. I somewhat agree. However, this is the Constitution here that I'm holding up. My phone looks to be delayed, but it says, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Now, although it says tender there, meaning to give or to present, to exchange, to tender in your money in exchange for something, it is not legal tender. It was lawful tender, lawful money. You've all often hear of lawful money. Well, gold and silver, according to the Constitution, is lawful money for payments of all debts. And I believe that that's where we should be. Now, the website that I just brought up a minute ago and talked about J.P. Cortez, who works with the Sound Money Defense League, they have been going around. I believe they've got 8 states now that have legalized gold and silver as legal tender. And so the thing that, which is great. I'm very supportive of the Sound Money Defense League. I hope to get JP Cortez back on my channel to ask him some of these big questions about these issues. However, to me, there is a difference between lawful, which is what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be under the law of the land. However, through, I believe, corruption and sleight of hand, we've been also put under this new corporatized structure where they've created legal as opposed to just lawful, which lawful is, very basic and understandable. Everyone agrees to it. It's very honest and upright, and only a few things that keep you within that lawful frame of reference. However, legal is now starting to trump the lawful. But originally it started off as just kind of aligning with the law. And so we start to think that legal means lawful. And over time now, we have so many legal references that it is now starting to trump lawful. And again, according to the Constitution, we already have lawful money. And in my opinion, we shouldn't even have to make it legal tender because it's already lawful tender. But through this trickery, it gets us to, have to use their legal terminology. And, I'm worried that by coming under the legal tender that we're giving them more leverage as if we would just uphold what it already is, lawful money. It shouldn't need to be deemed legal money if it's already lawful money. But this, that would take a longer video to get into. Maybe I can talk to JP Cortez about that if I can get him on. But Bitcoin cannot be sound money because it doesn't physically exist. You can't take it and ring it. You can't hear the sound of it because it doesn't physically exist. And so therefore Bitcoin cannot be sound money. And I'm going to leave it at that as to keep this a short video. Thank you all very much, and I will catch you on the next one.